The New York Jets have hired John Beck, the personal quarterback coach of Zach Wilson. Let's break down the significance of this hire, what it means for Zach Wilson's future, and then obviously the question about Mike White. How long will Mike White continue to be the Jets starting quarterback? That's what we're talking about in today's video. Hello, everyone. My name is Jake Asman. This is the Jake Asman Show for a Tuesday, November 2nd, 2021. I ask if you are a first-time viewer to please subscribe by clicking the subscribe button on the right-hand side of your screen. If you already watch these videos daily and subscribe, like this video down below. It's free. All you got to do is click that thumbs up icon, and you can help my channel continue to grow. And then also comment your thoughts afterwards. What do you make of the Jets' decision to bring in John Beck full-time to help this team for the remainder of the season? That's what we're talking about. And look, let's give credit to Jets Twitter, because it's not like Brian Costello or Rich Cimini or Connor Hughes or anyone on the Jet beat actually broke this story. This was discovered after a couple Jet fans noticed John Beck was on the sideline against the Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday. The Jet fans are the most passionate fan base in the NFL. Personal quarterback coach happened to be on the Jets sideline. Then they went on Twitter, pointed it out. The beat writers got wind of this and asked the Jets. And then I guess someone inside the Jets organization told them, yes, we have hired John Beck to be one of our coaches for the remainder of the season. Now, I don't think this is a bad thing. I don't think this is a panic move. I think, in fact, this is a great move by the New York Jets. This is a move that shows you the Jets are going to be proactive into making changes to try and help Zach Wilson. Look, Mike White was amazing on Sunday, and he should continue to play for as long as he plays well, and this gives time for Zach Wilson to get fully healthy. But make no mistake about it, Jet fans, Zach Wilson is the future of this team. He was the second overall pick. He's flashed otherworldly potential at times this year. He needs to clean up some of the simple stuff. He needs to get more experience and learn how to run this offense like Mike White did. He took what the defense was giving him on Sunday. But Zach Wilson's the future of this team. So the fact that the Jets went out there and hired his personal quarterback coach, I think is a great thing. It shows you that the status quo for the Jets was not going to get it done. It also shows you that this coaching staff, they're able to check their egos at the door. A lot of coaches will say, no, we got the answers in-house. We know what we're doing. We don't need to do anything. We just need to keep, working at what we know what to do. Well, now the Jets recognize that it would be smart to bring someone in that knows Zach Wilson well, also knows this West Coast offense that LaFleur is bringing with him to this team. So bringing in John Beck, I think, is a great, great move, not to mention the fact that John Beck can now be on the sidelines for Zach Wilson, and that allows LaFleur to continue to coach up in the box, which is what he did on Sunday. And Robert Saleh already said after the game, and then again yesterday to the media, that Zach Wilson is not going to have to worry about, LaFleur being there to help him early on. No. LaFleur is going to be up in the box. Now you have John Beck that can help him on the sideline. LaFleur called it such a different game than anything we had seen. He's more comfortable in the coach's box. You get a chance to see the plays develop. You get a chance to get a different look. He himself had talked about being more comfortable there before the season started, but Zach Wilson wanted him down on the sidelines. I think a lot of that was because RIP to Greg Knapp, he wasn't there, so Zach was more comfortable with face-to-face communication. But now that, we're 8 weeks into the season and John Beck's coming in, you leave LaFleur up in the box. And so this is a no-brainer. I mean, this makes a ton of sense. There's no downside to having a voice that Zach Wilson is comfortable with around the team every day. Tom Brady has his personal trainer on the Bucs payroll. He got a ring. So I think at the end of the day, you do whatever it takes to make your young rookie quarterback as comfortable as possible. This is like the anti-Jets for what they did for Sam Darnold, right? And then even what they did with Mark Sanchez after year 2 when they took away, Jericho Cotchery and the offensive line got worse. And you didn't surround your young quarterback with the talent to get the most out of him. We obviously saw this with Sam Darnold up close for 3 years with the Jets. So, the fact of the matter that you're bringing in a guy like John Beck who knows the offense, knows Zach Wilson, it's not a bad thing. And then obviously, as far as this game on Thursday, look, Mike White deserves to continue to start. If he goes out there and plays well, it's his job until he's not playing well. But the reality is the Jets do not have to rush Zach Wilson back now. So there's no quarterback controversy. It's a good problem to have if you have a backup that's capable of playing like what Mike White did on Sunday. But let's just see, how legitimate that performance was. Like there have been guys that have had breakout games and then they don't end up doing that ever again. Like the name I think of is Matt Flynn that last week of the regular season with the Packers when he filled in for Rodgers, who was resting before the playoffs. And then, Matt Flynn gets this big contract in Seattle, and then Russell Wilson beats him out during his rookie season. And then we never heard from Matt Flynn again. So there's been guys that have been, flashes in the pan, but it's not a bad thing that Mike White did what he did. It was an awesome performance. He played within the structure of the Jets offense, didn't make mistakes, checked the ball down, got the ball to playmakers in space. He did everything right. And Zach getting a chance to watch that's a good thing. Competition is a good thing. Now, the Jets have talked about how Zach Wilson is the hardest worker on the team. Robert Saleh said on the Michael Kay show yesterday in New York, sometimes, I think Zach maybe is working too hard. And we got to tell him, hey, just relax a little bit. So I'm not questioning Zach Wilson's work ethic, but there's no doubt when you see Mike White do what he did, like that's legitimate competition now that's pushing you. So there's that extra switch that maybe you could flip. So it's a good thing that Mike White did what he did. It's a good thing that, Zach Wilson now got a chance to see this offense through the lens of a different quarterback. And it's also worth noting, Zach Wilson was up in the booth with Mike LaFleur, as LaFleur called by far and away the Jets' best win of the season on Sunday. So Zach Wilson got a front row seat to how LaFleur is going to operate from up in the booth and got to watch the game through a different lens. It's not the worst thing for a quarterback to sit for a bunch of games here. Aaron Rodgers famously sat behind Brett Favre for 3 seasons. That will never happen again in today's NFL, but that's the ultimate example. Patrick Mahomes sat behind Alex Smith for a year. Even Sam Darnold, guys, played really well down the stretch in 2018 when he came back from injury after watching Josh McCown run this offense for a little bit. So, it's a good thing that Mike White did what he did. It's a good thing, I think, that Zach Wilson now gets the chance to watch this offense from afar. I think it's a good thing that now the Jets don't need to rush him back. They said it's a 2 to 4 week injury, but let's be real. You probably could play after 2 weeks, but you're not going to be fully healthy until the full 4 weeks. This allows the Jets now to be patient with Zach Wilson. There's no reason to rush him back for that Bills game coming up following the Colts game on Thursday, unless he's fully healthy. If he's fully healthy, great. You could go back to Zach, but if Mike White plays really well on Thursday, and even if the Jets don't win, but he looks really good, you might think about staying with Mike White for another game against Buffalo and then see what happens. And then maybe Mike White continues to be the guy, or Zach Wilson comes back and plays, against the Miami Dolphins in 2 weeks. So you have a lot of options. It's not a bad thing Mike White did what he did, and it's certainly a really good thing that the Jets are still showing you that Zach Wilson's their guy. They bring in John Beck. He's going to be able to help Zach Wilson on the sideline. LaFleur could stay up in the booth. So overall, Jet fans, I think this is a really good move. I think it shows you that this front office and this coaching staff is serious about not failing Zach Wilson the way they failed Sam Darnold. So I love it. And good job by Jets Twitter being the ones to recognize John Beck on the sideline, because for whatever reason, the Jets didn't seem like they were going to announce this. They were just going to, play coy and not say anything. And instead, they had to say something because they got all these requests in from the beat writers after the Jets Twitter pointed it out. And then, the beat writers actually had to do some work and try and do some digging there. So good job by Jet fans and a good job by the Jets bringing in John Beck. There is certainly no downside to this move at all. That being said, let's open it up to any questions or comments, your thoughts on John Beck being hired and your thoughts on the state of the New York Jets as we are at the trading deadline today. Anthony writes in, Zach was up in the box with LaFleur on Sunday. Great learning experience for Zach and LaFleur. Zach got to see how important the short passes are in the offense. Yeah, getting a chance to watch this offense operate from a different vantage point is not a bad thing for Zach, especially when a lot of people said, maybe Zach shouldn't start right away. Maybe he should sit behind a veteran for a couple games, right? That was the thought. I was all in on playing Zach if they felt he was ready, but I wanted the veteran backup this whole time. Well, now Flacco's here. Mike White, you might not like it, Jet fans. Maybe now you do, but Mike White is technically a veteran quarterback as well. It's not like he's a rookie, right? He's been in the NFL now for 4 seasons. He's been on scout teams. He's seen different looks. So I actually like the complexion of this quarterback room now, and I really like it more knowing full well that they're bringing in a guy that Zach Wilson is really comfortable with. Our guy Hader writes in, do you feel with the hiring of Beck, the Jets have too many voices for Zach? I feel it was a great move. No, I don't think it's too many voices. I think the fact that they got Beck shows you that they felt maybe there was, a lack of voices almost, right? I mean, I think this move symbolizes that they believe in Zach and they want to do everything possible to help Zach. And I'm sure Zach's parents love this. I'm sure Zach personally loves this. He's got a great relationship with John Beck. To the many BYU fans that now watch these videos because you're Jet fans because of Zach, you know all about John Beck and his significance in Zach Wilson's development over the years. So no, I think this is a great thing. I don't think it's too many voices. I think the two main voices you have for Zach Wilson are John Beck and Mike LaFleur. And I think that's a good thing, especially because Zach got a chance to sit up in the box, watch LaFleur call the game, and see just how good this offense can be when the Jets execute. Remember, the Jets were without Corey Davis, their number one wide receiver, and still went out there and had over 500 yards of total offense. This offense works if the right plays are called and the quarterback takes what the defense is giving them. Mike White did that as well as anyone could have done it. He really did. There was nothing fluky about Mike White's performance. It's not like he was just chucking the ball downfield and his players were going up there and making plays. He was accurate, and the Jets' biggest pass play was 26 yards. He was carving up the Bengals by getting the ball to playmakers in space and allowing some of these Jets playmakers to make plays. Like Michael Carter is phenomenal. It's about time that the Jets gave him the ball as much as they did in this game on Sunday. So, back to the overall question, I don't think there's too many voices for Zach. I think this is a really good move by this team, showing they care about developing this rookie quarterback. What do we got here? Keep it simple, RC. Should Wilson hang out in the booth with LaFleur the next 2 weeks or be on the sidelines with Beck? He should still be up in the booth and continue to watch the game from that vantage point with Mike LaFleur. I think that's where Zach Wilson will be on Thursday. And look, he could be on the sidelines with Beck when he's playing again. And he could be on the sidelines with Beck at practice. Beck can't help Zach Wilson in games where he's not playing. Beck's job is to help whoever the starting quarterback will be. And for at least this week, and my guess is the following week, regardless of the outcome on Thursday, that is still going to be Mike White. So I'm all for Beck being back. And I think ultimately we will see Zach Wilson continuing to be up in the coach's booth for these games. What do we got here? I honestly think that White benefits from Beck too, not just Wilson. Yeah, I think everyone benefits from good coaching. I mean, that's simply put a fact. And if Beck is as good of a quarterback guru as people have said, then it helps everybody. There's no doubt about that. Let's see. Boycott Activision writes in, if this could help keep LaFleur in the booth, I'll take it. I think that's why you make this move. LaFleur stays in the booth. John Beck gets to be the QB coach down on the sideline. No brainer. It's a good move. The Jets being proactive about trying to help their rookie quarterback is a good thing, not a bad thing. The Jets showing you that the status quo is not going to cut it is a really good thing for this team. Big E, hope Beck could take Wilson accuracy. That's his main problem. You know what? The thing with Zach Wilson's accuracy is he was an incredibly accurate quarterback at BYU. I think Zach is just dealing with the struggles a rookie quarterback faces. A lot of mental stuff, right? Mental mistakes, double clutching, not being really sure where to go with the ball. Like, I'm not really worried about Zach Wilson's accuracy. Like, that was not an issue for him in college. This is a guy that just needs to get comfortable playing NFL football. Going from BYU to the NFL is a huge jump. And we've seen flashes of greatness, and we've also seen a guy that's made mistakes as every rookie quarterback would make. So he just needs more time, getting a chance to maybe watch from the sideline, watch from the booth for a couple games here. You never want to see Zach get hurt, but I don't think it's the worst thing in the world at the end of the day, especially after that Mike White game on Sunday, because now Zach gets a chance to see how exactly this offense works. And I can't wait to see Zach get the opportunity to get some of these play calls the same way Mike White got some of these play calls on Sunday. With that being said, let's shift gears here, Jet fans. Let's talk about this trade deadline today. It's coming up at 4 Eastern. I see a couple of you have wrote in some comments, some questions about the Jets trading deadline. I really don't expect the Jets to make any crazy moves today. If you say to me, do they make any trades? I probably would lean with they don't. I don't think we're seeing a Marcus May trade. I certainly don't think after this game on Sunday, they're going to move Jamison Crowder. I think the fact that they play on Thursday, short week, it means it's more likely that the Jets don't make any crazy trades to rock this locker room just 2 days before they got to play again on Thursday. I also don't think at this point the value is there to get much for Marcus May. He's making too much money. He's been injury prone, and he's got the DUI situation next year. Plus, he's a free agent at the end of the year. So I don't think Marcus May will go anywhere. I don't think Jamison Crowder will go anywhere. If they move anyone, maybe Tevin Coleman could get dealt, but you're not getting much for these guys. I think at this point, the Jets are not tanking. The Jets are trying to establish a culture. You're trying to win games. I think we're going to see, this Jets team stand pat at the deadline and just be all in, focused on trying to win on Thursday. Because let's be real, the outsiders are going to think the Jets don't have a chance. Indianapolis is not great. Like, I watched a lot of that game between the Colts and the Titans, and I watched a lot of the Colts so far this season. I watched them up close when they played the Texans. I just don't think Indy's that great of a team. They're going to be down T.Y. Hilton. Carson Wentz has not been great. He's been okay. It's a short week. I think the Jets have a good chance to win on Thursday. Certainly be competitive. So I think they're going to be focused on that. I don't think they're going to be trading away any key players on a short week ahead of this game on Thursday. Now, one thing that would be fascinating is if they traded Joe Flacco. If the Jets traded Joe Flacco and got anything greater than a 6-back in return, that's great GMing by Joe Douglas. Flacco comes in, and you end up getting a better draft pick when it's all said and done. I don't know if they'll do that to Joe, because I don't know if, one, Joe wants to get traded again, and then two, they might just want to keep Flacco around because he's a veteran and just have more insurance in that quarterback room. But that would be funny if Joe Flacco gets traded for, let's say, like a 5th-round pick after the Jets traded the 6th-round pick to get him. I don't think it will happen. The team I'd note would be maybe New Orleans if they want a quarterback, although I think the Saints should trade for Tyrod Taylor. That's what I would do if I was them. They just traded for Mark Ingram from the Texans, so that's what I would do if I'm New Orleans, but I know a lot of you probably don't care because we talk Jets on this channel, not New Orleans Saints football. That being said, see if you guys have any other comments and or questions about this John Beck hire, this game on Thursday, or just anything specifically with this team right now. Once again, I think it's a great hire. I don't think the Jets are going to be that active today at the deadline. I think this win on Sunday changed how a lot of people are feeling about this franchise right now. Make no mistake about it. The coaching staff needed a game like Sunday. There were a lot of Jet fans rightfully starting to worry about Robert Saleh and Mike LaFleur, and if the Jets made another mistake and they weren't going to be able to do anything about it because you're not going to make changes after 1 year with the new regime. So for them to have that type of win on Sunday was a statement win, given the embarrassment of the previous week where the Jets were absolutely embarrassed by the New England Patriots coming off a bye week. So that was a huge, huge win. Jason Picker writes in, if the Saints wanted Mike White, what return would it take for the Jets to trade him? I don't think the Jets would trade him unless it's like a 1st-round pick or something. I don't think they will. The Saints aren't going to give you that much for him because it's only one game. Once again, we've seen plenty of one-hit wonders in the NFL before, so we'll see with Mike White. But I'll say this. What Mike White did, there wasn't a lot of flukiness to the performance. He made accurate throws. He played within the structure of the offense. He made the check down read. This wasn't a guy that was just chucking it up and, a couple great catches by receivers and passing interference to get him by the goal line. This was a guy that started at 11 of 11, completed 80% of his passes. Everything about Mike White's performance on Sunday was legitimate. Now let's see what adjustments Indy will make to try and stop Mike White. And then let's see how good this coaching staff is at the Jets. What can Mike LaFleur do to be able to respond to whatever adjustments that the Jets think Indy's going to make to try and slow them down? Busted Knuckles. You do realize ZW can't work with JB in the offseason now. Not necessarily true. I mean, if John Beck's contract is just till the end of the year, he could be a free agent once again, and Zach Wilson can work with him, and then the Jets could hire him back next year. I don't think this is that big of a deal. I'll worry about that in the offseason. This is a good move because the Jets are showing you they care about trying to help Zach Wilson have as much success as possible. It's a great move, in fact, and it shows you the Jets' egos and that coaching staff aren't too big that they can't recognize that, what they were doing wasn't working, and it's okay to try and switch it up. It was a good move by Robert Saleh to take the ball first to start the game. It was a good move by Mike LaFleur to be up in the coach's booth for this game this past Sunday. It was a good move for Mike LaFleur to tell Mike White earlier in the week that we're going to be aggressive early in this game because Cincinnati's going to think that we're going to try and ease you in because you're a backup quarterback. That showed really good coaching. That was a statement win by the Jets coaching staff on Sunday. As much as we want to make this game Sunday about Mike White, and we should because what he did was incredible, and I want to take nothing away from the performance, it's also a statement win by this Jets coaching staff, given the embarrassment of what we saw last week. If Joe Douglas gets a fifth or heaven forbid a fourth, I want a statue of Joe D in front of MetLife. What say you? I'm guessing this is in regards to maybe a Joe Flacco trade. Yeah, I don't think the Jets are getting anything close to that for Flacco, but man, would that be fun. AZN Mike, if the Jets beat the Colts, can they possibly fight for the seventh seed? I mean, look, anything's possible. You got to beat the Colts first, and then the schedule, you still got the Bills after that. Let's kind of see where the Jets are at down the stretch. There's a reason why I thought the Jets were going to win at least 6 games this year. That's because I looked at a game like this Thursday as a winnable game. I look at the game a couple weeks from now against the Texans as winnable. The 2 games against the Dolphins now are winnable. You got Jacksonville late in the season. That's winnable. There's going to be some games the Jets can win, and they've already won 2 games this year that nobody thought they had a chance to win. So I think what you want to see more so than competing for the 7th seed, which seems not too realistic, is this team just getting better and showing improvement. And you can't argue with anything we saw in that regard based on what we saw on Thursday. Our guy Omar writes in, Jake, finally got my jersey and it looks really good. Let's go get Odell and trade Crowder. Omar, we're not going to go get Odell. Odell, 1, can't stay on the field. 2, he makes a lot of money. And 3, he's not the type of guy you want to bring in the middle of a season when you're trying to rebuild. Odell Beckham Jr. might be the most overrated player in football. I don't know how else to say it. Odell might be the most overrated player in the NFL. What has he done since he left the Giants? 1, he can't stay on the field. 2, he no longer impacts the game. I want nothing to do with Odell Beckham Jr. To me, he's not a winning player. The Jets don't need him. Their offense is fine without him. They don't need him. I think Odell is just not the fit this team needs. And you're not trading draft picks to get a guy on a team that's 2-5. You're just not doing it. As far as trading Crowder, I wouldn't. Unless the team's offering you like a 2nd-round pick where it's too good to pass up, then maybe you think about it. But Jamison Crowder is a really good player. And if you're all about developing Zach Wilson, then you should try and keep some of your good players here. Now, that changes if the offer is too good to pass up. I'm under the impression Crowder at age 28 or 29 going into his free agent year, you're not going to get that great offer. So I'd hold on to Crowder. You got a game on Thursday. Crowder could help you win that game on Thursday. I'm not trading Jamison Crowder. Esmond writes in, Jake, great show. Great show, professionalism and pride by the Jets last Sunday. It seems like Mike LaFleur watches this channel because you got exactly what you called for with all the razzle-dazzle Houdini plays. Yeah, look, I mean, I'm not alone in this, but I think I spoke for all Jet fans when I talked about, 1, LaFleur should be back up in the booth. He had said previously that's where he's more comfortable. The offense clearly wasn't working in the first half of these games, so you can't keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So I was screaming for LaFleur to be up in the booth after the bye week. Like, LaFleur should have been coaching from the booth against the Patriots. Better late than never. All right, fine. Then I was talking about, just trick plays and not even like gadget plays or craziness, but just things that you could do to keep a defense off balance. You watch the NFL and all these teams, the good teams, run end arounds. They run the occasional play where the wide receiver's throwing. They run an occasional wildcat package. The Jets were doing none of that. And it's like, why? You got nothing to lose. You're playing your backup quarterback. Switch it up. Do something. And they did that. So credit to Mike LaFleur. He did an outstanding job calling this game on Sunday. But I know how Jet fans operate. If they go out there on Thursday and get embarrassed and it's same old Jets all over again, that goodwill that he built up, that this coaching staff built up, will be forgotten very quickly. So this is a Jets team that still needs to go out there on Thursday and compete. Maybe don't even win the game, but they need to go out there and compete. And that's not asking too much. Like, the Jets should not be 10.5-point underdogs in this game on Thursday. They should be able to go out there and be in the game in the fourth quarter. If Mike White goes out there and plays within the confines of this offense, I think we've seen that this team can have success. We're going to need this Jets defense to force a couple turnovers on Carson Wentz. That's a key for this team. Make no mistake about it. What do we got here? This one's from our guy, V-Man. V-Man, thank you so much for the $5 contribution here to the channel. The thing is, the Colts are going to take away the short passes and force Mike White to throw deep. V-Man, you're right. It's a great point, and this is why you need this coaching staff to have the right game plan in place. The reason why quarterbacks have been one-game wonders in the NFL is because there's no tape on the guy, or you're not expecting an offensive approach to what the Jets ran, let's say, against the Bengals on Sunday. That kind of goes out the window now. Like, that's going to be different in this game on Thursday. The Colts are going to be able to adjust. Matt Eberflus, the Colts defensive coordinator, is considered by many to be one of the best DCs in football. He almost got the Houston Texans job after interviewing for it this past offseason. So, look, I would say this. The Colts will make adjustments, and the Jets have to adjust back. Let's see what Mike LaFleur could do. Maybe booth Mike LaFleur changes everything, and he's Sean McVay when he's up in the booth. We shall see. Scott writes in. Scott, thanks so much for the contribution as well. Trade Crowder and Van Roten for a decent offensive lineman. Scott, I think if the Jets could do that, they would. Those things don't exist, right? I mean, what team is taking on Greg Van Roten and then giving you back another good offensive lineman? Like, it's not going to happen, right? I mean, like, the thing with any trade is, like, both sides need the benefit. You tell me how any team is benefiting by taking on Greg Van Roten. And then as far as Crowder, I would keep Crowder. He's a good player. You're trying to help a rookie quarterback. Crowder's not going to get you enough value where you would trade him. So I would say keeping Jamison Crowder would be a good thing for this Jets team. AZN Mike makes the point. We're just gonna draft linemen. Look, the Jets have 2 first-round picks, and they also have 7 picks within the first 4 rounds. I'm telling you right now, Jet fans, the Jets will probably draft, out of those 7 picks in the first 4 rounds, at least 2 offensive linemen. It wouldn't shock me if the Jets go center or guard with their first round pick this year. They could take that Seattle pick or their own pick and maybe take the center out of Iowa, maybe one of these stud linemen from Texas A&M, the guard, or the tackle from Bama if he's there. Like, I have no doubt about it that this O-line is going to look a lot different on the right side once Joe Douglas gets another draft. Because, by the way, you know who's been one of the best players in the NFL this year? Elijah Vera Tucker. So anyone that was ripping the Jets because they gave up an extra 3rd-round pick to move up and get arguably the best guard in the draft, come on. I mean, Elijah Vera Tucker's been an absolute stud. Let's see what we got here. David writes in, Zach couldn't stay ahead of the chains, missed too many easy passes. All part of being a rookie. We've seen the greatness from Zach at times this year. We've seen him miss some easy throws. I think that could be coached up. I think that's why John Beck is here. I think Zach Wilson getting a chance to sit and watch how this offense operates when you run the plays from LaFleur here. I think all that's a positive for this Jets team. So I'm telling you, I think we're going to see a different Zach Wilson when he comes back and starts playing quarterback again for the Jets. Mike Cohen writes in, have your feet hit the ground yet? I haven't seen a performance like White's in 50 years of my memory. Mike White's performance was one of the most unexpected performances that any Jet fan has seen in their lifetime, regardless of age. I mean, it really is true. Like, here's the example I'd give you. If you were like in a coma for the last year and a half, let's say, and you missed the entire offseason, the debate about whether or not the Jets should keep Sam or draft the quarterback, if you missed that whole thing and you just woke up, turned on the Jet game and saw Mike White and you were like, oh, well, this must be the quarterback the Jets drafted 2nd overall, right? You would have no idea because that's how well Mike White played. It almost reminded me a little bit of what we've seen at times from Mac Jones with the Patriots. Mac Jones is not taking deep shots downfield. He's taking a lot of what the defense is giving him, and he's been deadly accurate. Like, that works. That could work in the NFL if you play within the structure of the offense. Mike White did that. He did even more than something that Mac Jones has done this year because he brought the team back down 11 in the 4th quarter. I mean, big throw after big throw, accurate throw after accurate throw. It was as good of a Jet quarterback performance as we have seen in quite a long time. Let's see. Damian writes in, missed the news on the quarterback Coach Beck being on the Jets sidelines. This for the rest of the season. Yes, to anyone just tuning in, the lead story today is the Jets have hired John Beck to be one of the coaches on the offensive side of the ball, specifically the quarterbacks, for the remainder of the season. No doubt about it. Billy Bill writes in, Mike White can do it all. Mike White, baby. Lightning strikes. Mike White. Nothing like it. Is John Beck a good quarterback coach? The Art of Pimpin' wants to know. Look, Zach Wilson swears by him. He's his personal QB coach. During the bye week, Zach Wilson went back to Provo, Utah with his family. And who was there with him for workouts? John Beck. If Zach Wilson's comfortable with John Beck, there's no downside into bringing in Beck. Allow him to be on the sidelines with Zach. Beck played in the Shanahan offense when he was in the NFL as a quarterback. So this is a good thing for Zach Wilson. It's a good thing for the Jets. It shows you they're doing everything possible to put Zach Wilson in a position to have long-term success. Boogie Woogie Creep writes in, any chance the Jets look at Brandon Cooks for a deep threat? They don't seem to be sold on Mims. I wouldn't expect the Jets to trade away any premium draft capital for Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks, if the Texans were to deal him, probably is getting you a second and a fourth round pick, a second and a fifth round pick. The guy's quarterback proof. He's put up numbers with anyone that he's played with in his NFL career. He's been good with Davis Mills, who's been terrible for the Texans, throwing him the ball. So I would say the Texans, if they trade him, they're going to be asking for a lot, as they should. And I don't think the Jets are going to trade away premium picks. Let's also be real. The Jets are not weak at wide receiver. Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, Denzel Mims, Keelan Cole, Braxton Berrios is not a bad unit. Do they lack the true number one? Sure. I didn't even mention Jamison Crowder, by the way. That's how deep the Jets are. The Jets have a lot of really good number twos and number threes. There's nothing wrong with that. You can win with that in the NFL if your quarterback knows where to go with the ball, like what Mike White did. If he gets the ball out quick, the Jets use the running backs in the passing game. I don't think the Jets are in need of another wide receiver in the middle of the year. Now, as far as drafting one, maybe the Jets will like someone in the draft and they could use one of their picks, high picks on a receiver. I'd be okay with that, but I don't think we're there at that point just yet. Let's see. What else do we have here from you guys? Thanks to everyone who's watching this live, by the way. If you're new to the channel, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button on the right-hand side of your screen. And also down below, you'll see there's a thumbs up icon. Just like this video. You click thumbs up. It helps the channel continue to grow. I want to thank everyone who watches these videos either live or after the fact. Short week, so there's certainly a lot to talk about between now and Thursday night when the Jets play in Indianapolis. DJ writes in, what happens if Mike White does just as good against Indy? Well, then, DJ, it's pretty simple. Mike White's the quarterback then. There's nothing wrong with Mike White continuing to play well. Zach Wilson will eventually most likely get the chance to be the Jets quarterback again. I think the odds that Mike White goes out there and throws for 400 more yards against Indy is highly unlikely. But you know what? If he goes out there and plays well again and the Jets win, then you don't need to rush Wilson back. Then they could just say, all right, we're going to take it slow with Zach Wilson. We're not going to play him against the Bills. You know, it's a 2 to 4 week timeline. We're going to be cautious with him. We're going to sit him against Buffalo. And then let Mike White go out there again against the Bills. And if he plays well, let him go out there and play against the Dolphins. There's no harm in Zach Wilson getting a chance to watch. It does not mean Mike White's the answer, but you never know. You never know. And I give credit to Robert Saleh for leaving it open-ended. Guys come out of nowhere a lot in the NFL in the history of the sport. Why is that? As Saleh would say, opportunities and reps. Mike White's got the opportunity of his life right now. Let's see if he can take advantage. It's not a bad problem to have. The Jets having maybe two guys that could be good quarterbacks is not a bad problem, Jet fans. Considering all we know for most of our lives is terrible quarterback play, it's not a bad thing that Mike White might actually be good. We shall see. We shall certainly see on that. Saleh all of a sudden was like, see, we knew what Mike could do. Look, the Jets were rewarded by sticking with Mike White and talking him up at every press conference and throughout training camp. But Mike, make no mistake about it. If the Jets knew Mike White was this good, they would not have traded for Joe Flacco. Like, that's just a fact. If they knew Mike White was this good, Joe Flacco would not be on this team right now. So the Jets could say whatever they want, but them internally, Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh probably are very surprised what happened on Sunday was a reality. Jets X just reported the Jets are turning down offers for Mims. Yeah, this has been something that's been out there. I saw Brian Costello of the New York Post also put a tweet out saying he's hearing the same thing. I do not expect we will see Denzel Mims get traded. I think they believe in Mims. They're working him in slowly, clearly into this new offense. Made a couple nice plays on Sunday. Let's be real. He should have also had a touchdown from Josh Johnson on Sunday. He dropped that pass. I don't think Denzel Mims is going anywhere. I expect him to fully be on this team. Scott Wilson writes in, Scotty, you were related to Zach. Everyone talking about Mike White, but the real story was how impossible it looked to tackle Michael Carter. Dude dominated. Yeah, Scott, I talked about this in my post-game recap, and I talked about this with Will Parkinson yesterday. Michael Carter could play. That is a really good pick by Joe Douglas. Ty Johnson also could play. So you're talking about a Jets team that has Carter and Johnson, two guys that are versatile, two guys that are athletic and can make plays out of the backfield. That was a great sign for this Jets team that we saw the type of production that we did right there. From the Jets running backs. And it was nice to see an offense feature the check down route. It was nice to see, Michael Carter have 170 all-purpose yards. He could play. And he was incredible to tackle after contact. Like the yak yards after contact that the Jets had in this game on Sunday was so impressive. What do you think this move means for Rob Calabrese, the Jets quarterback coach? I don't know if it means much. I just think it means it's another voice. Now you wonder, all right, do they have too many voices? I don't think so. I don't think the Jets are making this move if they were concerned about that. Calabrese will have a role. John Beck will have a role. I don't think it's a bad thing to have, someone that your rookie quarterback at Zach Wilson is really comfortable with. What do you want the Jets to do with those first 4 picks in the draft? Well, it's 7 picks in the first 4 rounds. Specifically, it's 4 picks in the first 2 rounds, because you got the extra second from Carolina. Thank you, Sam Darnold. And then you got, obviously, the extra 1 from Seattle. I would say this, looking ahead is always difficult because you don't know how the board's going to play out, especially this early, and you don't know how, the rest of the season's going to play out for the Jets. But I would be really surprised if out of those 4 picks, at least 2 of them are not offensive linemen, whether it's guard or whether it's center. I would be surprised if at least 2 of the Jets' first 4 picks in the NFL draft this year are not those 2 positions. Like everyone wants the center from Iowa in Linderbaum. Great. I'd be all for it. I would take the guard out of Texas. I would take any of the Bama offensive linemen that are coming out. I think you have to continue to surround this offense with as much talent as possible. As there are some needs on defense, no doubt. Linebacker, you're always looking for premium players like an edge rusher and another lockdown corner. But I would tell you, in an NFL league that's all about moving the ball and passing, everything the Jets do in the offseason going into 2022 has to be made with the idea of building around Zach Wilson to allow him to take that big leap that most young quarterbacks make from year 1 to year 2. So that's what I would do looking ahead, but we got plenty of time to talk about that between now and April, when the draft actually is. HLR writes in, Jake, you coming on after the game? Yes, we will have a live post-game show Thursday night. Hopefully my voice isn't shot from yelling and screaming at the television as I always do, but my plan is to be live probably about 15, 20, 25 minutes or so after the Jet game on Thursday. Good or bad, we will have a show on Thursday following the game. So spend your post game with us right here on the channel. Take a couple more questions here, and then we'll wrap up for today's program. Mike Cohen again writes in, amazing to me that fantasy talking heads don't talk up the performance of Carter. 9 freaking receptions, plus it was Kamara-esque. Yeah, look, I mean, I don't watch a lot of the fantasy programs, so I can't speak to the talking heads and whether or not they're talking about Michael Carter or not. But, I mean, the reality is, let's see if it's a trend with Mike White at quarterback that we see more checkdowns to Carter and Ty Johnson. I think there's a good chance both guys are going to be really involved in this offense once again on Sunday. On Thursday. The Wicked 50 Cal writes in, do you think that Beck will be back next year, or is it one and done type thing in your opinion? I'm not quite sure. I don't want to sit here and act like I have any insider knowledge on this one, because I don't. I'm sure Zach Wilson will be asked about it. I'm sure Robert Saleh will be asked about it coming up later today if he speaks to the media. LaFleur might actually be speaking today because the coordinator's got to speak earlier in the week when the team plays on Thursday night. So I'm sure we'll get maybe more context, more information today on what exactly Beck's role is, what exactly his official title is. We shall see. I think you worry about next year, though. Next year, I think in the short term, it's a really good move by the Jets, showing you that they care about this rookie quarterback. It's showing you that they're serious about putting Zach Wilson in a chance to have success, giving him the right support staff, giving him the right coaching, bringing in Beck, and then moving Mike LaFleur back upstairs to the coaching booth shows you The status quo for the Jets was not going to cut it anymore. There's no downside in bringing in someone that Zach Wilson is comfortable with and having that guy being around the team daily, especially if you're Mike LaFleur, you're a first-time offensive coordinator. And if you're a first-time offensive coordinator, it's not a bad thing to get someone that also really knows the offense that you're running. John Beck played in the NFL. He played in the Shanahan system before. It is not a bad thing to have that guy around your football team as you're trying to get Zach Wilson comfortable in this offense. With that being said, I want to thank everyone for taking time to watch today's video. If you're one of the 220 plus people watching right now, here's what you can do to help me right away. Like this video right down below. Spread the word. Please subscribe to this channel. It's easy. You hit that red subscribe button on the right-hand side of your screen. You hit the like button down below. It's that thumbs up icon. That helps YouTube fix this algorithm that they have. So the more people that like, comment, and subscribe, the more people will see this video. It shows up on their home feed. So thanks again to everyone who took time to watch. Comment your thoughts after the video wraps up. Do you like the Jets' decision to bring in Zach Wilson's personal quarterback coach, John Beck? My name is Jake Asman. This has been the Jake Asman Show. Signing off for a Tuesday. Have a good one, everybody. See ya.